There you are. Welcome back to the channel. This is the most disturbing videos on the internet today. Let's dive in.
The Donald Trump Back to the Future rabbit hole continues. Let's get into it. So just the other day, you guys, it was the 40th anniversary for the classic movie Back to the Future, in which Marty McFly has to go 88 miles per hour, okay, 88, into the future and to the past to make time travel happen. Put a pin in that. In part 2, there is some serious parallels between Donald Trump and the villain Biff Tannen, where he becomes rich and powerful, almost like he was predicting that he was going to be POTUS one day. Now, this version of Biff Tannen, where he gives himself the almanac so he can get rich and powerful, this all has to do with wealth. Now, I said that the number in this movie is 88, 8 being the number of wealth, so here's the thing. If you've been paying attention, Trump keeps mentioning 88 over and over again.
Favorite check, the tariff line. They called me back an hour later. Sir, we've taken in $88 billion in tariffs. 11,888 murderers came into our country, and some we've already gotten out, but...
Now, if you paid attention to that last number, it's actually the same number as this executive order, 11888, signed by Ford, which has to do with taxes and tariffs and America's wealth. But that's where it just begins. And while all this is going on, at the same time, isn't it weird, after 14 years of being dormant, 8 wallets holding 80,000 Bitcoin worth $8 billion starts to move around again? What are the chances? Now, going back to the movie Back to the Future, again, some major parallels. Look at these headlines where it says Trump pulls off biggest upset, Hill Valley man wins, Biff wins again, Trump wins again, luckiest man on earth. Literally the same thing, saying luckiest man on earth, and the title says Back to the Future. Here's another weird thing. The character that was based off of Donald Trump, Biff Tannen, was born in 1937, in which 2025 makes him 88 years old. Not to mention, the same year that Marty McFly goes into the future, 2015, is the same year that Donald Trump runs for president and then later becomes president. And sidebar, 88 years ago, Amelia Earhart disappears, so there's that. Kind of random, but I thought that was pretty interesting too. All in all, my prediction is I think we're about to see something major in the financial world, maybe with crypto, with banks, something with money, so be on the lookout.
Is it a coincidence with the 88? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.
Human husbandry. Raising humans like beef cows or cows in general. If you don't have your own biology, your own neurology, there's nothing of their system, wearables, software that you're gonna do. They're 30 to 40 years ahead of you right now today, and not in your military. Black Projects starts from there so that they always have better equipment. I am deeply disturbed at how many people are still dancing in circles. They will take you out. You can't feel your own skin. Where's your piloerection? Yeah, welcome to cognitive neuroscience. There was never any reason that is good to lie to other humans about their immune system, their interstitium, their crystalline fascia, the way that the lobes of the brain work, and the way that you generate piezoelectricity with biotensegrity just walking around. Oh, it's a morpho field. That's your biology, your field that you generate with your blood flow and your breath and your heart beating. Yeah, turn all that off. So here's my message to humans until I get back. You need to get over yourselves. The aura has existed throughout time because of what I just said. It's biological, anatomical. It's how they do what they do with synthetic biology. Dear Lord in heaven, if it's good enough for a Nobel Prize, where are you? If it's been on the NIH for 10 years already, why can't you talk about it like an adult? No, leave it nebulous. Let's make them fight over religions. Well, that's hilarious. That's exactly what the Flynn Network has planned. That's hilarious. That's what the engineer just said a year ago. It's so funny to watch really incredible people struggle to communicate with one another.
Guys, a lot of this is running over my head, but I'm starting to grasp it a little bit. piezoelectric subconscious. And I guess we harness that when we're walking. It's getting interesting.
Until the general public can admit their anatomy that they're using for all this, we're in trouble. Because people are out there now saying that, oh, the same type of goofiness, click your heels, you can have feels. Which I'm sure, looking at our community, they're like, well, isn't that what you tell people? No, what we tell people with education is that they're under people's skin. They are manipulating people, and that you gotta fight to get out from under the signal. And if they focus on you with enough of these different satellites, you fry. They won't admit that either. It's a slow kill system. I am very uncomfortable, I'll just be honest, because on the other side, mathematics-wise, well, the neural dust doesn't hold with wireless sensor networks as long. Okay. But they have other ways to set up the neural networks that do hold, like they tattooed the inside of my daughter's heart tissue. And in the same way, this other dude over here, who's a creator and founder of these special lenses for the eyeballs, which is what John Flynn was partially in trouble for, helping that DOD analyst because they were looking through her eyeballs. The general public doesn't even understand that frequency, they can hear the word frequency, but beyond that, they're lost. And then they want to argue lawfare and all these things. And what is being sold to them with both of these directions that different research is going on, there's no nano, they're not augmenting people, it's all just a distraction. What they're really doing is synchronizing your bioelectricity to their synthetic grid. They have cyborgs, prosthetics, exoskeletons, and augmented humans for 15 years, okay? So while I appreciate the ideation of we just have to get our frequency together and phase lock and be all 0 point, none of you are. The closest that I can get, I gotta be fasting outside, enough oxygen, holding the node and ley line sequencing in my front lawn until the system will physically push me over, cut the oxygen off, and throat punch me from the inside out. Oh, well, that's just you. Oh, really?
There's ways we gotta counteract them fighting our biofield is what I'm starting to get at. Like, they're able to tap into our subconscious conscious field is what I'm starting to get by watching her.
Alright, I keep trying to make it home, but I just keep coming across stuff. This model right here, it's not just a relaying traffic data. It's a frequency relay node. My scans showed it pushes a low C hum. That tone hits your body, sacral and solar chakras. Translation, it influences your motivational and gut instinct. It pulses behavioral nudges, slight passive, but over time, it builds patterns of apathy, hesitation, self-doubt, a resonance feedback loop. And when I stood here, it flagged me, broke its pattern. All right, this one right here. This one looks harmless, but it acts like a field drape. Dueling emotional expression, it flattens the energy around you. That lump in your throat feeling, that's your throat chakra being compressed by design. Your joy, your voice, your expression power gets muffled, not silenced, just slightly dampened. And over time, it adds up. But right here, they always gotta have these right near these, you know? Right, so this mural, it wasn't a coincidence either. The butterfly is a field harmonizer. Its symmetry, colors, and geometry mirror back higher states of consciousness. My energy bounced off that wall, amplified, anchored, redirected. The mural is acting like a soul memory lock. So when I walked through this area, I didn't just decode the signal, I changed it. So if you're wondering what all this means, it's simple. The grid is active, the boxes speak, and some of us were meant to wake it up. Don't be afraid to stand in your signal.
Can suddenly see how the human voice has potential to create infinitely. That with our voice we have the potential to create everything and anything we can imagine. Everything in creation spins and vibrates. Everything has its own prime resonance frequency. Everything. Sound is the source of all creation. Sound and resonance is responsible for everything. It is the breath of the Creator, the prime resonance frequency, and the source code for everything in creation, including our DNA. Check out Dan Winter's work on that as well, how cymatics and sound helps to form and shape our DNA and the structure of our DNA based on the cymatics. And that word cymatics, it comes from Hans Jenny in the 50s and 60s, the brilliant work that he did and showed us how sound and resonance is responsible for everything in creation. This is the most basic fundamental demonstration how sound and resonance manifests into physical form. And I just cannot get enough of it. I can watch it millions of times. Every frequency has its own specific shape, a prime resonance frequency. Are you only looking at a two-dimensional representation of a three-dimensional effect?
This looks like there's something up to go no good, like a Solomon seal or something. Looks like we got a little Hebrew there. Yeah, this can't be too good.
And then Eric Larson is the guy that created the Cymoscope, and this is when you can suddenly see how the human voice has potential to create infinitely. That with our voice, we have the potential to create everything and anything we can imagine. That we are indeed creators. And remember, every thought you have also has a frequency and a vibration, as a resonance. Just like your voice. And some of these pictures, the images of this Cymoscope images, tell us that it was these sounds, the images of the sound, that actually inspired religious symbols. That beautiful cross in a circle at the center of some of these cymatic photographs give us a very clear indication that the creators of the religious symbols knew exactly what they were talking about, that the source of creation is sound itself. And that takes us to what sound does. Sound pretty much does everything you can imagine because it's a source of creation. This is from Hans Jenny's brilliant video, Cymatics. This is powder on a metal plate. It's not a liquid or a jelly. It's powder. You can see landscapes being formed here over extended periods of time. Mountains can form, valleys, volcanoes, all to do with the sound of the earth, coming out of the earth.
Here is the effect of vibration on a specific substance, lycopodium powder, or spores of the club moss. We have strewn it uniformly on a diaphragm of stretched paper with a diameter of about 30 centimeters, which we now excite by vibration. This causes the powder to clump, and the more intense the vibration, the more piles there are. If the note is louder, that is to say, if the amplitude is increased, these masses of powder move to the center and make a kind of dust cloud there. They are not at rest, but in a state of continuous motion.
What is going on? Because we look at how these two fuse right here. That is interesting.
But in a state of continuous motion. We can see a large circular shape forming in the middle and continuously moving. Sometimes it is whipped up into a cloud, as it is now, and sometimes it reverts to the solid dust particle form. These changes are caused by the differences in the intensity of the tone, that is, by the different amplitudes. In this experiment, the frequency, that is to say, the number of vibrations per second, is the same. And now we see the circular form and everything in a definite pattern of movement.
So the original people of Australia have a creation story that says time began when the supernatural beings awoke and broke through the surface of the earth. So imagine the surface of the earth being something like this, that metal plate being the surface of the earth, and the supernatural beings broke through the surface of the earth, and they created the surface of the earth with 3 sacred songs. So it's interesting that I linked this to the Aboriginal people or original people of Australia and the 3 sacred songs, and it's very similar to this picture that I took from an aeroplane flying over Western Australia, and you can start seeing how the kind of landscape would have been formed from the cymatics of the sound of the earth itself.
So that's Australia lore. 3 giants broke through the earth and sung a sacred song. Interesting.
Ancient civilizations understood sound and frequency, and they used it for everything. They used it as a tool, and they also used it to control and manipulate humanity. This is nothing new. We know by now that the pineal gland is pretty much what represents the all-seeing eye of Horus. It's a receiver, it's a transmitter, it's a powerful tool that we should be using, but we're not, because it was manipulated with. The medicine wheel is a cross in a circle that represents sound, that primordial source of sound, that shows that the Native American healers knew that sound could cure and could heal. Royal Raymond Rife, you should know by now, that cured with the man that found the cure with sound and resonance, and were converted to electric impulse. Lakovsky, the multiple wave oscillator, that has got an incredible record of curing. Sound continues to amaze us. Sound can levitate. By now, you would have seen this many times, just a very quick idea that sound actually does levitate things. But this is not how the ancients used to levitate the very big, heavy objects. This is a very different technique used here. This is just pressure waves that can levitate things, very light objects. But it does give you the ability to imagine that sound actually levitates. John Keeley levitated stuff and drilled sound holes with sound in 1888 already. Peter Davy boiled water with sound since 1940. Sound creates what's known as a star in a jar, called sonoluminescence. When you take a sphere of water and you expose it to certain frequencies, it gives off a very, very bright light at the center of the water, called a star in a jar, which is just absolutely not.
Yeah, that Solum science, that's fascinating. Makes you wonder how stars can be created in water.
Really not quite what it is. And sound creates hurricanes. There are 2 guys in 2003 that lodged a patent to create hurricanes out of sound. Believe it or not. Luc Montagnier, 2011, spontaneously generated DNA in water with sound frequencies. This is just spectacular stuff, right? So now you can see how we can manifest things. We become creators and can manifest anything with sound. I guess this is probably one of the best descriptions of the nature of our reality and around us. The fractal, multidimensional, toroidal nature of reality. That's a mouthful. This is what a complete and balanced toroidal magnetic field looks like. And what it does, it has an accretion disk in the middle. There you can see that yellow accretion disk. That's the center of the magnetic field. Whichever way you turn it, it's the same. As above, so below. We start to understand some of these basic fundamentals of creation, all coming from the breath of God, the breath of the Creator, the words that we utter. Everything that we say and create has the same effect, creating these complete, perfect magnetic fields. This is some of the most beautiful new work, being able to actually see what a magnetic field looks like through the Faro lens. This is quite a new discovery, only about 10 years old. Now we can actually see what magnetic fields look like. This is when you look at a torus. This is what a torus magnetic field looks like. You can see the magnetic fields. Some people would call this the ley lines on the surface of the earth. You can actually see the magnetic fields. So I'm suggesting that people that are reading ley lines are actually picking up the magnetic fields that crisscross the toroidal field of our planet. When you look at the cone-shaped magnetic field under a ferrocell, look at this. When you take a ferrocell and you put it over a speaker, like a speaker magnet, look what it does. These beautiful cone shapes that face the middle, just like what?
Wow. So he's suggesting that the magnetic fields are actually the ley lines of the earth. That's an interesting theory.
Just like this guy's wristwatch. Can you start seeing why I'm suggesting that these guys were using technology? It was in their wristwatches, they had the cones, all to do with magneticism and sound. We just never saw it like that until we got the ferrocell given to us. And when you bring a magnet towards a ferrofluid, what does the ferrofluid do? It forms beautiful cones and just stick right out the ferrofluid. And now you start seeing how sound and magneticism plays a role in nature, in structuring the flowers and the shapes of trees, and everything around us is driven by sound and the magnetic fields that actually create the shapes around us. And this is where we realize that sound and magneticism is inextricably connected. It's sound that creates magnetic fields, and moving magnetic fields create electricity. It's in that order that creation seems to happen. So we don't live in an electromagnetic universe, we live in a magneto-electric universe. So magnets give off sound. We all know what speakers are. So there you go, you got electricity, it comes out of a plug, it runs down a wire, it goes into a speaker, a magnet, the magnet reacts, and the magnet makes the air move and creates sound. And the reverse is possible as well. It works one way and it works the other way. And this is where we start getting into the real understanding of some of the masters. Everything manifests as a torus in a toroidal field, and including sound. And this is what sound looks like when it manifests as a toroidal field. Sound, just like everything else, manifests as a toroidal field, as a torus. And this is why when our hearts beat, we create a toroidal field around our body. And that toroidal field creates an electromagnetic field around our body. And
They say that our heart, if you unravel your heart, it's a vortex. When they unraveled it, they realized that it was a vortex.
so it goes. This is what the toroidal fields look like, or that are created by the sounds we make when we speak. And phenomenal research and work has been done to show us what the different toroidal shapes and fields look like of different letters and different sounds, especially vowels. And then as we speak, these toroidal fields that we manufacture and we create with our mouths, infinite forms, infinite shapes, infinite creativity that we manifest, actually become scalar waves and scalar technology that go into all of creation and permeate all of creation instantly. It doesn't take light years for the thoughts we have or the words we speak to permeate all of creation. It happens instantaneously because sound and resonance traverses all of creation instantly. Not like light that takes time to travel through what we believe to be the cosmos. And here the toroidal shapes of color, incredible work shows us that the different kind of structures and toroids that color actually creates, and how it manifests in different and the various sacred geometrical patterns that we've become familiar with. And here's the brilliant work of Eric Rankin, and I really suggest you watch his Sonic Geometry documentary. It's fantastic. It's just watch it. It's a half an hour long on YouTube. Watch that. It'll give you a lot more information. But this is how basic shapes, triangles and shapes in nature, how they all have sound and resonance. This is the sound of nature around us. Every time you look at something that's carved out in a rock, or a symbol, or the caduceus, everything carries its frequency. And actually, when you're looking at it, you're picking up the image, and the sound is entering your subconscious through the fact that you're observing it and looking at it. So it has an effect on you. So when people say, oh, it's just a stupid symbol, no. It has a severe effect on you and your subconscious, but you're just not aware that it's affecting you because you're picking up the sound frequencies of that image. So keep in mind, not only your thoughts are powerful tools, but the images and the words you write are powerful tools. The words that we write, this is why the original letters of the Hebrew alphabet, the 22 letters, are very specific shapes and size and forms. Each letter is actually a two-dimensional representation of the three-dimensional sound of that letter. It's been reduced to 2D. Now you get a better understanding of how that is possible. So the tools that have been given to us of thought, of language, of vocabulary, of letters, of the alphabet are powerful tools. And this is why wizards and witches could cast spells with their spelling, right? Cast spells, and we do spelling at school. So we're actually learning to cast spells without realizing what we're doing. And this stuff is just so brilliant. When you start breaking this knowledge and this information down, you get into the deeper understanding of the power that we have, the incredible, powerful beings that we are, because we are one with God. We are one with the Creator. We come from the same creative source. And we are all.
And now they're tapping into our subconscious, like how we're feeling, the sounds that are coming from our bodies subconsciously. They're hijacking it by the sounds of it.
All right, guys, I want you to pay attention to the Matrix in live time right here. All right, this is literally city code, guys. Coding. First, right here, this is a red fire tag. This isn't just some utility marker, it's the access stamp, the entry point to the resonance field. Look, it's before anything they register your heat. Fire is the first elemental scan. That's how they read your charge before you enter. The ID graffiti, identity lock, and mesh gate. Once you walk past here, the whole field knows who you are. Not your name, your resonance code. That's the moment they stop you from being water and start shaping you into a little fish. Then boom, downtown. Look at that metal. Corrosion. You're in. This is the front cover. The show. Lights, sounds, heat, motion. All sync to pull energy out of the crowd. This is where the fish gather, thinking they're choosing to be here. They don't realize it's a loop pool, not a free stream. Now, y'all guys can break all this down if you want. We got another access. We got another access to another resonance zone. Look. Tap. 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 Sanctum. Ghost shit. But this right here, this is the real gate, the Grand. Guarded by spiral ironwork. That ain't just for show. It's an antenna grid. The metal catches and holds your frequency. And look up. The crest with the faces, it's a seal. That's the guardian mark. The whole entry is a harmonic signature lock. Once you pass it, your energy is already stored. And you want to see shit in real life time, huh? Y'all guys are familiar with let's see. Boom. Then you got Tesla. Plate says MK71. Mind Key Puzzle 71. And it's a Model 3. Parked dead center. That's a G coil code. Anchoring scalar loops to keep the circuit tight. This Tesla is more than a car. It's a resonance stabilizer. It pulls in stray thought forms and plugs them back into the field. Ghost ship marking. The last name on the parking site. This is the Grand and the illusion. The downtown is the lore. Ghost ship is where the forgotten ones go. The energy from the little fish who never break free, stored, archived, and repurposed. Ghost ship is where the lost signal loops forever. Sorry guys about the camera. I'm trying to be kind of secrecy. There's some rather cartelala looking people around. Alright. Now UFO. Slapped next to a detour. This is the decay code. When one fish starts seeing the pattern, the system tries to redirect. UFO.
Is he trying to break out the matrix?
Traceable frequency output. They hide real structures behind this kind of false disruption. The detour, that's not traffic, that's your mind. It ties into this building. We've been here before, right? We already know how this one works, right? See that metal band across the top too? The whole place is held with a metal band. That's a scalar containment loop. The band holds the whole building's harmonic resonance. It keeps the signal tight, bouncing it through the structure like a tuning fork. Everyone walking under it is stepping into the field. Stay with me, guys. Because here's how they get it all into the air. You got a sketch back alley, right? And you got another ID. That's a mirror code. You see? One end of the block to the other, right? One end of the block. You see those people looking? They didn't like the intention. He doesn't like if he's being recorded. Studio 1. Go look at the other video and look at the names on the board by the door. Fat Babes of Phoenix, The Basement. Then there's Grid Talk on it. But you see that dish up there? This is where we end it. This is the broadcast of current. The signals you thought
There is a dish up there. Okay, I see it. I was looking up there, but it's right here.
were choices, thoughts, cravings, moments of fate, all of it coming from here. This is the mouth of the river. And everything you've seen, every light, tag, gate, loop, it's all coming from this point. The little fish don't even know they're in the water. But once you see the dish, you become the wave.
It's like there was subtle symbology in real life that's showing him that they're trying to steal our subconscious thoughts, is what I'm getting from this. Or they're trying to direct our subconscious thoughts. The code word for today is breaking the matrix. Drop breaking the matrix as the code word. That lets me know you're a real one. You made it all the way through this video, and I just want to say thank you. Your support means the world to me. This was the most disturbing videos on the internet today. See you tomorrow.